What's going on, everyone? We are back with episode 2 of Road to 1200. Now, what's going on today and what's so different about this video compared to last week? Because as you see on the screen right now, there is no footage, but there is. Don't you worry. We are going to be doing a form breakdown and kind of show you the struggles that I'm currently dealing with. Quick breakdown. We are in week 7 of this. Week 6 was okay, and we'll get into that a little bit more. Weight 213.4, down 0.2. Not really much of a difference. We're going to say it's about the same, but my body fat percentages are going down. So I use a Withing scale. I won't say it's the most accurate scale. Typically, whatever percentage of body fat it says I currently have, I add 2 to it. So I've been reading it at about 15.3 to 15.4. I know I'm not that. I can look at my body and say, I am not that. So we are trending in the right direction. We were roughly 18 at the start. Week and a half later, again, staying pretty consistent on my calories and just deficit in general, and trying to train as hard as I can with the given plan that I am in. I can't say that strength-wise I feel great. I feel pretty poor, to be honest. The reason why we're going to be doing kind of a voiceover kind of form breakdown or issues throughout the training instead of while I'm doing it while I'm training. I don't have someone filming me. I have my camera. I have a very cheap wireless lavalier microphone, which is cheap and it sounds cheap and it's not good. I don't expect it to be perfect. Again, I'm not a professional, but I know what basically sounds good and what sounds god awful. We work with what we got and go from there, right? So with that being said, let's jump into this form breakdown real quick. This was last week. This was my second day. It was not a volume squat day, but not a super heavy squat day. This is kind of like my medium day. It's like a 3x5, so 3 sets of 5 reps. I worked my way up to 225 on this, but what you'll see is I want you to pay attention to right here, the inside of my foot. And you'll see kind of what happens right here. Did you catch it? I believe I do another rep. My foot turns on the inside. And it's not only on my right foot, it's definitely on my left foot as well. You can actually see right here, my heel is coming up and collapsing inward. I took time to try to figure this out. Things I was reading online talked about hip mobility, ankle mobility, being able to fully put pressure on your pinky toe, your big toe, and your heel so that you have a nice, even, stable base. So as you can see here, it's not great. And this is at 185. This isn't heavy. This is not my working set. This is still in warm-ups. And I'm noticing this. That's an issue, right? So if we continue the clip, and again, you can see collapsing inwards, heels coming up on both on the outsides, right? So the outside of my foot is coming up. The inside of my foot is collapsing and rolling over. That's not the most stable base that you can have, which is not a good sign when you're squatting. The goal is to be as efficient as possible with the move. So again, trying to figure out this issue. I do have an updated video that I filmed yesterday because that was day 1 of week 7. And that whole workout, we're going to dive into hard because it's rough. We have this, and this is with squat shoes. Now, they're heavier base. They are heeled shoes for squat. And while there is a little bit of it wanting to come in and rotate, it's not as bad and it's a lot more stable. As you can see in this video, it's a lot more stable. This is at 205. During warm-ups, it looked a lot more stable. It felt a lot more stable. It is different. It's a different knee path and bar path a little bit. Now, so I do have to get used to that. But overall, that felt fairly decent. I would say right now I'm experiencing two major issues out of the three lifts. Squat being the squat wobble, where my foot's just going in, right? And back heels lifting on the outer side out, but my knees are still going out. They're not caving in. So my foot's caving in, but my knees aren't. And that's really confusing. But I'm sure stretching, some mobility exercises will really help that in the long term as well. Now that we're done with squats, what is the other major issue? My other major issue is deadlift, right? We see here that deadlift is technically my strongest lift, at least weight-wise. The problem is that number should realistically be minimum of 5 to the mid-5s, if not pushing 6. I'm not a super small guy by any means. I have a decent amount of muscle on me, decent amount of size on me, but deadlift just is not going anywhere. I should be able to get into position and fully engage my hamstrings, my glutes, my lats, and really have a really strong deadlift, and I don't have it yet. All right, so let's jump into deadlifts, and I'll explain to you why this is so frustrating for me. So before we jump into the video, right? This was attempt number 3 at this workout. The first time was the day prior, and I just had a migraine, and I thought it was in my best interest to just walk on the treadmill instead. Got home, took some Tylenol, drank lots of water. Maybe it was dehydration, maybe it was just one of those days, right? But just did not have it in me to actually complete the workout without feeling ill. And the way that my split works out is on Saturdays is my day 1. Sunday is a rest day or an active rest day. So it could be like cardio, ice skating, like doing something active and having fun with it. Day 2 is technically the 3rd day of the week for me. And that is what I'll be doing tonight. And that is a bench focused workout. But point being, Sunday, aka yesterday, I had to do this workout because on Saturday I couldn't complete it. My first attempt doing it on Sunday was bad, to the point where like I was frustrated. I didn't even do my workout. I spent 50 minutes in the gym trying to work up to the weight that I was prescribed to do. For those of you that have never followed a program that is based off of your 1 rep maxes, typically you'll be prescribed the weight, and it's usually off percentages of what your 1 rep max is. For me, in week 7, it wanted me to do 10 sets of 3 for deadlift at 80% of my 1 rep max. That equates for me 348 pounds. Try to get up there. And I just can't. No matter what I do, I can't get to that weight without it feeling really sluggish, really slow. I'm struggling with this plan. Maybe today is just not the day. Leave the gym, go throughout the rest of the day, and I tell myself, you know what? I need to do this plan. I need to continue. I'm in week 7 of it. I'm at the halfway point. Like, there's no quitting. Just figure it out, even if it's compromising, right? Let me start off with bench, because bench is fairly easy to get into a good groove. Then let me go into squats, which, as you saw, like my squats were better, not great, but better than they were for week 6 when you look at feet positioning, things like that. And then let me do deadlifts. So that's what I did. I told myself I was not going to hit 350. Partly because you'll see in this video why. Again, trying to get into setup. Now, I want to pause it right before I pull. So, right here, I'm pulling slack out. But you can see, I'm not in a great position, right? Little bit of a curve, lower back is not looking great. And this is on 225. This is light. This is easy. This is something that, I mean, you'll see. When I press play, like I just pull. But I was struggling, form-wise. That's probably my best positioning. Shoulders over the barbell. Actually, they're kind of in front of the barbell. which tells me I might be standing too close, which was some advice I was given by my fiance. She has a full-on powerlifting coach, and like her form's been getting corrected, and her form is so much better than it was 4 weeks ago. And I show her the video, and she's giving me some advice, and I'm excited to put that advice to use. Because like you can see here, my shoulders are past the barbell, which is not great. It's going to put me more in a hunch position to begin with. So, but this was probably my best form of the day, right here. Still not great. I really do think I'm just way too close to the bar. If you look, like I can't even, in this position, there's no way for me to even pull my chest up and put myself in a good position at all. So what ends up happening, my body becomes more compacted, and now I look like a cat when they first wake up from a nap. For those that don't know, go look it up. They like scrunch their entire body. So, and I know it immediately. Boom. You can see me shaking my head. Put it down. And I go, okay, well, what can I do now? What's the next move? Let me try hook grip. You tell me if you think hook grip was better. Getting into position, about to pull. It's a little bit better. Hips are a little bit higher, which is good. But again, if we look at my arm angle, like my chest and shoulders should be over the bar. They're just not. So now I'm just this compacted little thing. You can see my face is nice and red. And then I pull. But as the lift continues, my form gets better. If I can't pull with good form on 225, me hitting 80% of my 1 rep max for 3 for 10 sets is not going to be the answer. That's going to cause more harm than good for me. So I had to make the executive decision and say, okay, today's going to be a form learning day. Really just hit a lower weight, look back at it, and make the adjustments that are necessary so that next time you deadlift, it's a lot better. All right, so that's it for form breakdown, right? So like, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good. And it wasn't in a spot that like I felt comfortable yesterday to really pull heavy on deadlift, right? There are things that I need to work on. And I think setup is going to be key. Most of the time, if your setup is right, the rest of your lift will be right. So that's telling me that there's something way off on my setup. At the end of the day, regardless of what a program says, what your mind may be telling you, you do have to be smart about it. If you're not smart about it, it's going to be a bad day and you're just going to hurt yourself going forward. So what is the goal for week 7? To hit all the lifts with proper form, continue working on my squat. So to figure out my foot wobble type situation, continue dropping in weight because we need to see more than 0.2 a week. But quote of the week, it's going to be right here, and I'll leave it at that. Why? Because we can. And if we can, we do. If you can do something, do it. Push yourself. You need to be able to hit that next gear, to flip that switch. You can't feel sorry for yourself. I had a bad lifting day yesterday. I still completed my workout. The numbers may not have been the same for a deadlift, but everything else I did. I did to the best of my ability for that day. So, with that being said, this is the end of episode 2. Episode 3 coming up. We'll jump more into nutrition next time. Maybe some more training videos. And hopefully I can get this audio situation figured out because I'd like to be able to speak with you raw in the moment. And right now, I can't do that based off of how bad the sound is. It's your boy, Dreamer Boy. Don't stop believing, don't stop dreaming. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.